Aloha and mahalo for tuning in to the Transform Hawaii Government Digital Talk Story series, where I will be talking to a local government leader and the work they are doing to modernize the state's government services. My name is Christine Sakuda, and I'm the Executive Director of Transform Hawaii Government. Today on the call, I have the pleasure of speaking with the state CIO, Doug Murdock. Welcome.
Hi, Christine. Welcome.
Let's jump right into it. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do and how technology impacts your daily life.
Well, as the State Chief Information Officer, I'm responsible for various officers of IT for the state government, including having an overall strategy and helping the departments set roadmaps for where they're headed, and running all of the IT operations that are central to the state, like the data center and the network and cybersecurity and some things like that. So it's a strategic role. A lot of it is to do planning and look forward and figure out where we need to go to keep the state moving forward and get us modernized in some areas where we aren't.
How has COVID-19 impacted the delivery of government services and jobs?
Well, I think there's two different areas. One is, for working from home for state employees. A lot of them are working from home now, and we had good technology in place for most of them. We had Microsoft Office 365, for email and communication. We had Teams and SharePoint for file sharing and OneNote. And then we had Adobe eSign so that people could do digital signatures on important government documents. So a lot of that infrastructure was in place, and all of that can be done from home or at work or any other location. And a lot of our major applications were also web friendly so that people could work from home. We had a couple of things that were not web friendly. One was our unemployment insurance system. And we made an effort right at the beginning of the COVID outbreak and the rise in unemployment to start making it more web friendly. And I think it took us a couple of months to get there, but it was a very good effort very quickly to try and allow people to get into the unemployment insurance system much more quickly than they could have if we'd have just stuck with the old mainframe system and not enhanced it in any way. So we did make efforts to enhance it and make it better. But still, it was a struggle to work with that system, which was used to having, maybe 20 people apply a day, and all of a sudden there were 800 people applying a day. It wasn't really up to that. So we know we have some modernization challenges going forward, and we've done a lot of work already, and we have much more to do.
Well, thank you. And I had heard that it was a big team effort, and that there were people and volunteers from many different departments that actually volunteered their time to work and support the unemployment insurance applications.
I'll mention too that we set up a huge processing center in the convention center, which had the ballrooms and several other rooms in the building. And we set up networks and computers and phones in all those rooms. I think we ended up setting up enough workstations for 225 people, so that we were able to very quickly stand up a very big unemployment processing center. And that has wound down now, but now we're using it for tracing efforts for the Department of Health. So the unemployment people have mostly moved out, but the Department of Health is moving in, and now they're going to use that same area for contact tracing.
Oh, great. And, coming out of the COVID-19 experience at the convention center, are there some lessons learned, nothing like a crisis to help us look at ways we can improve or do things differently? And the team spirit that you had mentioned of everyone kind of coming together and working together, what is the best way we can use that to, carry that forward into the future?
We have seen other opportunities where we know we can work together. And one thing we're talking about right now is having a digital ID for state citizens so that if they're eligible for benefits, they already have an ID with us, and we already know where they're logged into other systems, and we can just let them into the system faster, because part of the problem always has been, validating somebody's identification and then avoiding fraud. We have a lot of people though try and commit fraud against the state when there's money available, and we've got to have a safe way to make sure that the people applying really are people that are eligible. So we've been meeting with the Department of Tax, Labor, Health, Human Services, and talking through some of these issues and how we could unify the IDs. Because right now a citizen has an ID at Labor, at Tax, they're different. At DCCA, it's different. At Department of Health is different, and DHS is different. So they have 5, 6, 7 IDs that they have, and we'd like them to just be able to have one that we can validate and know, so that if something happens and they need a government service, they can apply, and we can identify them quickly and get them eligible.
Is a digital ID something like a citizen sign on to the state web portal? Am I oversimplifying if I say that, or?
No, that's about right. And we do have about 125 services available to citizens already through one ID that we have on ehawaii.gov. So a lot of things that people want to do with the state, they can do online through that ehawaii.gov portal. And they use the same ID for all of those. But we want to also incorporate these other major systems that have separate IDs.
What are some of your other top priorities that you would like to share with the community that the community can be on the lookout for moving forward?
We've been working for about 5 years to put in an enterprise resource planning program, an ERP. And we started 5 years ago by bringing the human resources management system online in an enhanced way. And then we did the payroll system. And those two have been done, where they're modernized and very effectively running now. So right now we're doing a time and leave process. We brought the first group of state people online in May. That included the governor and lieutenant governor's offices and DAG's office, and that included ETS. So we're online with that system. We process tens of thousands of paper leave forms, for example, and time processing forms, and we'll get rid of all that paper, and it can all be done digitally when we get all of this time and leave process in place. And then the next phase of VRP is to do the financial management system. So we are operating on a 45-year-old financial management system that runs on COBOL, and it's very old and hard to manage. So we want to replace that financial management system as the last big step. And the legislature in this last session did authorize us to spend money to buy a new financial management system. So the program team is writing the request for proposal right now, and we think we might have it released as soon as September 1st, so that we can begin the process of building that and modernizing that part of the state. And that'll be so important to all the citizens of the state, because it'll help speed up payments to people. For contractors, it'll help make sure they get paid faster, I think. And overall, it will just cut steps out of the process and make the state of Hawaii faster in processing things. And then I think also there'll be more transparency into how money is spent. Right now there's a lot of different systems we have to dig into to try and get any transparency, but hopefully now we'll have everything unified in one system, and information will be available very quickly.
Since THG's mission is an open, transparent, and accountable government, how can we support your efforts moving forward as the state CIO with all the priorities that you have? And what kind of support could the community provide that will really help the state to really transform its services into online, so people can access them when they need, during times like a crisis like this?
It's going to be a time of real challenge for the state government in terms of people and funding. We know that the state is probably going to be 25% short of its revenues this year. And so we're all looking for ways to save money. Hopefully that doesn't happen too much in the IT arena, because IT is a force multiplier. It's leverage to make other things more efficient. But we know we've already taken a reduction in people, and we know we're going to take a reduction in budget. I will say our contractors, our vendors have been very helpful in reducing prices where they can. And we're being creative and looking for new ways to do things and trying to see what we can stop doing if we can stop. So I think everybody will just have to be understanding as we go through this transformation over the next year. And then hopefully on the other side of that, we'll have an even better system. So I can't do more things with less money, but I hope we can do better with less money. And that's our goal.
Well, that's great to hear, Doug, and thank you. And Transform Hawaii Government is a community coalition, and we are very committed to supporting the state's efforts to modernize and transform, and it seems more important now than ever. So we look forward to continuing to collaborate where we can and support your efforts. I want to thank you, Doug, for your time and joining Transform Hawaii Government on this first Digital Talk Story series. Thank you for being here and joining today.
Mahalo, Christine.